Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the HollingsWorthless podcast. This will be it was supposed to be for Wednesday the 19th, but it's going to be coming out Wednesday the 18th, coming out Saturday the 21st. Today's the 20th. It's Friday.
You do one black comedy festival, and you can't tell time or dates now.
This will be for the 19th, coming out on the 30th. Sorry it's late. Get it? All right. As always, I'm your host, Big Irish J. Hollingsworth. And my guest this week, returning guest. Come on, keep the mic by your mouth. You don't want to miss anything, dude. They're coming. I did a 5-hour energy drink. I'm fucking ready to go.
Let's go.
Sidney Smith. Sidney with a Y.
Yeah, asshole. It drives me nuts.
Cindy Sith. That's his porn name. Sidney Smith, my good buddy, headliner from Phoenix, and we are currently in his hotel here, the Avenue.
The Avenue, baby.
Here are we in Hollywood? Is this Hollywood?
West Hollywood, okay. Son.
Oh, I know why you picked that. We're in West Hollywood. Hi, sailors. And you're performing tonight at the Comedy Store.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And then tomorrow where?
Tonight in the main room at the Comedy Store, and then I'm down at the Rec Room down at Huntington Beach.
Oh, that's great. You haven't done Rec Room?
I haven't done a Rec Room yet.
It's great. Low ceiling. It's on you. And then do you have a show Sunday?
Well, then Saturday, I'm at UCB and Ha-Ha.
Wait, what's tonight? Today's
Thursday.
Oh, today's Thursday.
And then tomorrow's Friday.
Okay,
And then Saturday, I'm at UCB and Ha-Ha's.
Okay.
And then Sunday, I'm back at the Comedy Store again inside the Belly Room.
You want to come to my recording? It's at 3 p.m., which is always great for comedy.
Sounds good.
You
Come
in
the daytime. Yeah, I'll go with you. So I can tell them, motherfuckers.
Yeah. So Sid's my. So I, if you listen to this podcast or follow anything, I spend a lot of time in Phoenix, and Sid's like my running mate. Is that what you say?
Absolutely. This is my brother.
Yeah. And your brother's over there. And
unfortunately.
Just got back this last weekend I was in Pleasanton, which I guess is the Bay. It's by Oakland, like 20 minutes from Oakland, I guess.
That's pretty white for
Tommy T's. Have you been to Pleasanton?
I haven't, but that sounds like a pretty white name for
Sounds
that side
pleasant.
For that side of the city.
God, fucking yuck. But I did I don't know what number it is, but the Bay Area Black Comedy Competition.
Their 10th one or something, isn't it, I thought?
Oh, I think it's like the 30th.
Has it been around that? Wow.
But it was gone for like the last 6 or 7 years.
Only black people go ahead and stop doing something for 6 or 7 years and keep counting.
Yeah.
They come back, pick it up like we never stopped.
I mean, maybe it was the one after the last one. It just took a little while to get it going.
Almost like that uncle you used to play chess with, then he went to prison, but he'd come back and he'd make that move again like he never left.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have an uncle that went to prison. My uncle was a police officer.
I was talking about from a black man's point of view.
Gotcha. Maybe my uncle sent that uncle to prison.
Oh, probably so. You're pretty pale.
Dude, my uncle was a cop. He was head of the gang task force in Portland, Oregon. My grandfather was a cop. My grandmother worked at the police station. My other grandfather was a cop.
You should
living up to that Irish stereotype.
You should have told me that. You should have said that before I let you in the room. You have to announce that shit. You just can't show up to a black man's door.
I fucking bang on the door. Yo!
You didn't say that I'm related to cops. I wouldn't let you in here.
Oh, yeah, dude. It's bad. So you were asking me, before we started this, you were asking me about the Bay Area, who won it, all that stuff. Yes. So wanted to, some of this stuff some you don't. So I wanted to go over the whole experience. So a little backstory. The Bay Area Black Comedy Competition has been around, I think it's been 20 or 30 years.
Okay.
It didn't happen the last 6 or 7 years, and this is the first year back. But I did it the last year it was prior. I was a finalist in either 2012 or 2013, one of them. I was the only white guy in the finals. And then it's back now. So some of the people that have done it previously, Craig Robinson, I think, won it year. Which is hilarious. He's a beast.
Yeah.
Nick Cannon was in it. Chris Tucker was in it.
Okay.
Pretty much D.L. Hughley. Pretty much if you name a awesome black comic and some white comics, they probably
Nick Cannon.
Yeah, and shots fired.
I'm just keep it honest.
Well, dude, what's funny is I remember, just as a side, when I was working at the Parlor in Bellevue, I remember, and this is 8 years ago, I remember it said, Nick Cannon's on the schedule. And my first thought was, I was like, why the fuck is, I'm like, he does comedy? Then I found out he had done the Bay Area when he was like 18. And then when I met him, the nicest fucking guy.
I'm sure he's
very self-aware about himself as far as like with stand-up and everything and rap. Like at the time, his set was like him shitting on himself, thinking that he could battle Eminem.
Yeah.
Times have changed, obviously.
And that's exactly why I took it. That's why I said what I said. Because when you come after Eminem, you come after all of Detroit, baby.
Dude, it's fucking It's he just needs to back off that. So the Bay Area was this weekend. Thursday, so they had preliminary rounds. So there was one Thursday night I wasn't there for, and they also had like some comics. They had a what do you call it when people speakers are talking?
Q&A.
God, not a segment. What the fuck's it called? Lecture like type thing.
A symposium.
Ugh, God, that's a fucking big word. It's not the word.
They just talk to you.
Well, they had like different people. Like one they had speakers that were like bookers.
Yeah.
And then one was like on social media. I can't think of the name, and I can't believe you can't think of the name.
I thought I did, but
symposium. It's fucking all right. Symposium. Fucking, it's way too smart a word for me. So they had a symposium.
You don't get this up in the Bay Area.
Somebody's going to text me and be like, "Are you trying?" Not a lecture. They had a. It sounds. I think it starts with an S, but it's not symposium.
Gotcha.
Anyways. I wasn't at the Thursday one. I guess it was really
Seminar?
good. Seminar. Fuck you. You knew it was seminar, you cock.
The brother back behind you.
Seminar. Thank you. Fucking for normal people. Fucking symposium. I'm a fucking professor of English. Symposium.
Could've
fucking boo. So Thursday's seminar. Clayton Thomas spoke. B.T. Kingsley spoke. And,
okay.
Do you know Clayton Thomas?
I don't, but I've been watching his videos on Comedy Hype a lot over the last week or so.
Dude, and he makes stacks. I mean, all these guys are making money off, the social media thing, which we talked, at end. So that was Thursday. Thursday night, I wasn't there. 4 comics moved on to the semifinals. Friday night, I was on the Late Show, or was it? No, Saturday night. So I came Friday. I watched the 2 shows. Carlos Rodriguez was on one.
Okay.
He took bullet in one. So Saturday there was another seminar. There was seminars, and I had an appointment with the comedy doctor. The doctor, I think they just call him. It's Tony Spires. So Tony is the one that runs this whole thing. His son Jarrell, it helps, and Darrell's like our age, and he's just I love them both. I love Tony and Darrell. But so my appointment was at 12:30. I showed up, as we do, being professional. I showed up, I think 11:30, maybe 12 even.
You're always right on time.
Yeah. So I get there, and Darrell's like, "Hey man, so we're running a little late," and I'm like, "What's a little late?" And he's like, "These people are in front of you," and there's a gang of people, and I'm like, all right, I can go watch a movie then, right? He's like, no, but luckily, while I was waiting, they had 2 seminars. So the first was bookers, local bookers and starting your own room.
Okay.
Which BT has he started a room in Sacramento, Touch a Class, which was, I've done it before, and it's an awesome room, and then he handed it off to Andre Bailey.
Yeah, my man Andre up there, Mr. Amen, up in Sacramento.
You know him?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
And they're both great comics.
Yeah.
And that room, Touch a Class, is great. It's on a Sunday in Sac, and it's a.
I told him I was gonna come up there and try to get on that show one night.
Dude, he should be able to get you on. I was gonna say you don't need me. And that's where they filmed Heart of the City for Sacramento.
I know, and I ran across that video on YouTube of him hosting his 10 minutes up front.
It's great.
Yeah.
So the first guys were bookers and stuff, and starting your own room. That was great. Then the second seminar was. Comedy club owners that own a club in Atlanta. I don't even know if I should say or not, but so they run an urban room.
I'm gonna do it the way you normally would do it to me. Say it. Come
it's
on.
the Atlanta Comedy Theater, I think it's called. And they say it's an urban room. I'm doing air quotes if you're listening. It's a black room, mainly black comics, urban comedy. Whatever.
Everybody knows what cold word urban means now.
Yeah, that's what they say on the news. 2 urban youths. Be like, all right, we know what you're trying to say. Or you're at the movies and you'd be like, would you urban youths shut up?
You better not.
So we're sitting there, and they're telling us about, which a lot of the stuff we kind of already know. Is a lot of it's like your followers now. Mm-hmm. They said pretty much straight up, you could be talking about whatever. If you're going to sell tickets, then they'll give you a night, you know, and they talked about starting with an off night, see how you do there, and blah blah blah. So as they're talking about that, they're talking about the local comics, and they're like, yeah, and we don't pay our features.
It's bullshit.
And I was like, I'm listening to them, and in my head, because immediately as comics, you know, you're like, yo, what? You know, and so I knew I wanted to ask him this, and all I kept saying to myself is I was like, Jay, don't be disrespectful. Don't be disrespectful. Don't. So finally it got to my Q&A, and I go, I don't want this to come off as disrespectful, but I was like, so you guys don't cultivate the local scene. I'm getting that, you know. And he was like, oh, no, absolutely. We absolutely cultivate it. And I was like, but you don't pay your features. You don't pay the comics. And he goes, his answer was, quote, no, we don't have to. We have all these comics that want time. We're providing you a venue to do your art. And I was like, oh, my fuck, are you shitting me? And my buddy Sean, he brought up a great analogy, but, you know, it's always that afterwards. You're like, oh, that would have been great. He's like, you should have said, oh, so you don't pay your sous chefs or your dishwashers that are trying to, you know, because you're letting them work on their craft, you know. And I was just stunned. And nobody else said anything. I'm the only, in my head, I'm like, there's nobody, because I said to him, I go, I'm a working comic. This is how I make my living. And you don't pay features. And he's like, no. And then, but he's like, well, we do other things. Like I had this guy hook up with this comic, and now he's their opener. And then he mentioned at one point as he's talking, he mentions the LA clubs, and I was like, yeah, you know, they all pay, right?
I'm getting paid tonight.
Yeah. And nobody, again, I was the only person that said anything in the room. But then afterwards, all these comics came up to me. Oh, I'm so glad you said something, man. That's crazy. I'm like, oh, you couldn't fucking say something in there? I'm the only one.
So here's my question to you on
Yes.
that, because I wanted to ask you this next time I saw you. Was there any back and forth between you and, was this the club owner or the manager or the booker?
Owner and the head of marketing.
He's both or two?
There
both?
was two different guys.
Okay, so was there a back and forth for a while between
A little bit, and then I also was like, you know, I just in my head I'm just like, okay, because their argument was, you know, they're talking about like if a comic's coming in and he can sell out the room, then they're letting you do your little skits on their stage, so they don't have to pay you. Because if you don't want to do it for free, they got 15 other local comics that'll do it for free.
And how long has that club been there?
I guess they used to be a different name, and then the guy managed a bunch of comics that I don't know if they're still with him or have moved on, but this now has been there. This new one under the Atlanta Comedy Theater, I think, has been there. I think they said 2 or 3 years maybe, but they had something before.
Sound like a pimp,
dude. I mean, I don't get it. It's dude. The other thing that bothered me too is his reaction was so like, or him saying it was so like I was crazy to think that features should get paid. I'm like, what? What are you talking about?
Well,
you know?
it's crazy that he would say something like that out loud in front of a bunch of comics from across the country, as if that's the way things are done everywhere.
Dude,
we're not paying the features.
Yeah, I'm just like,
and no, you're not cultivating talent.
Yeah, dude, I'm like, so I think one of the things I said to him, I go, okay, so say you have a comic, he's the next Dave Chappelle. But he doesn't have a social media following. So, because that was one of the things he says, well, what are you bringing as the feature? What are you bringing to us? Why should we? And so I go, okay, so if you have a Dave Chappelle, he has no followers, but he's the next coming of Dave Chappelle. He won't get time because he doesn't have any followers. And then he's like,
well, you know what? That doesn't even make sense, because you should be booking your headliners to put asses in seats.
Yeah.
You're not booking your features to put asses. I mean, if they bring something extra, that's great.
Oh, dude, and I said to him, there's another thing. I was like, again, I don't want to be disrespectful, but I said, you know, as a comic, because he talked about there was somebody that had 7 million followers. He didn't say who it was, but he's like, we had a guy that had 7 million followers. They only sold 80 tickets, right? So when he's telling us all that, I was like, again, I don't want to be disrespectful, but I go, at the comic side of me hears you say they have 7 million followers, they sold 80 tickets, and then as the comic, I'm like, well, what are you doing as the booker?
Exactly.
Because it's your job you're the promotions and booking in this,
right?
You know, and it just, the whole thing, I was just like, oh man. And they're very nice guys, shook their hands afterwards. And I was like, I hope that didn't come off disrespectful, but we didn't come to like an agreement or anything. They have their way of doing things, and it must be working for them. But
No, and your questions weren't disrespectful. I think they're disrespectful to their own comedy community.
yeah,
I mean, seriously.
this
This is what you think of these guys? Here's a stage. We turn on the lights. You do everything else.
You're lucky we're giving you a venue. That's
That's a deal you make at the bar for a bar
Dude.
show.
It was it left a bad taste in my mouth.
All
I'm
right.
just like, what's funny is Kev on stage I think is doing their club.
Yeah.
And he was saying like he's already sold a bunch of tickets and this and that. I might hit Kev up to ask him if I can go out there with him because I have some friends in Atlanta that would be good to go out there and see. And I said to him, I go, I might come out there with Kev. I go, Kev will pay me, of course.
Oh, what did he say?
No, then he just laughed. I mean, which he can. I wonder if it's a scenario where that's the only comedy club in that area, and then comics really are fucked. They don't have unless a comic just says.
I think Uptown is still there. I thought.
And Laughing Skull, is that down there in Atlanta?
Laughing Skull, I think, is down there. Uptown.
Maybe they used to be Uptown.
Uptown is where they used to where you could get heckled.
It might be. They may have used to be Uptown, and now I think they were Uptown, and now they're
Okay.
the Atlanta Comedy Theater.
Because they used to be, and because I did this a few years back, the Atlanta Improv,
Okay.
and then that got sold and demolished and got written of like a year later or whatever. So they might be the only thing in town.
A comic needs to just start their own shit.
Because
And,
I went down to visit, and I was like, well, which club should I hit? And all the locals like, don't do Uptown. And I was like, why not? I say, oh, because they let them heckle. They let the crowd get at
That
you.
sounds like I told you my Miami Improv gig, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Did I show you the tape?
No.
Oh, I still have it. I'll fucking send it to you. Of the girl bombing in front of me. So that was the seminars, and then I did my one-on-one with Tony, Mr. Tony Spires, the comedy doctor,
Okay.
at 4:30. I think it was like 4 hours late. And I was telling Darrell because I truly love these guys. I love the festival. I say this all the time, and this is 100% true. When I did it before, when I moved to LA, I got more from the networking I made there than anything else.
You did tell me that.
Yeah, and so I want it to succeed, but they gotta update their website. It looks like it was fucking done on an Etch-a-Sketch.
Does not look good.
Yeah, you've seen it, right?
I did.
Yeah,
Does not look good.
the website needs to be updated. It's got to be more organized. Shout out to Tangerine, also Clayton Thomas's wife, who's very funny and one of the dope. Do you know Tangerine?
No.
She's got a big social media following. Actress, very cool people. She helped a lot. Did a lot at the festival, so shout out to Tangerine. Nichelle Murdoch was judging. She was one of the judges.
That's okay.
Do you know Nichelle? She does Turn Up Thursday, or I think it's called Turn Up Thursday or Tickle Me Thursday or something. It's at the Comedy Store on Thursday nights. So,
Okay.
Awesome. I think it's been there forever. Like she's had it there for a long time. Bob Sumner was one of the.
Bob was there.
He was one of the judges.
Oh, Mr. Sumner was there.
Yeah, Mr. Sumner. For those that don't know, he helped create Def Jam.
Mm-hmm.
He founded Laugh Mob. It's a movement, and Laugh Tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And Bob's been in comedy forever. And I'm trying to think of some of the other judges. I think one of the nights the guys from Atlanta were judges. Actually, the night that I went up. So I was like, oh, I'm definitely not moving on, but I did. So I'll get to that. So my set was Saturday Late Show. I was going second. Comic before me, he goes by Hollywood, comedian Hollywood. He went up, did great, and I was like, all right, cool, I'll ride the wave. I went up, I opened with the, apologize, I'm white and everything's your fault, blah, blah, that stupid joke. And then I thought my set was, I had a good set. I was like, all right, cool. Guy that went up after me didn't have that good of a set. Then Jay Rich. Dude, my lineup was stacked. Like there's, I think 10 to 12 in our lineup.
That's what you're saying.
And I think mine was probably one of the most stacked for the first round. So in my lineup was Jay Rich, who's an Oakland native. So when they announced him, crowd went fucking crazy.
He had to make it through.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
After Jay Rich was Tristan Johnson, who's a buddy of mine who I've known for.
I like Tristan.
Yeah,
Funny guy.
your buddy too. And dude, Tristan fucking ripped it. So Tristan ripped it, and then other comics went up. There was a guy from Jacksonville that went up, and then Roger Rod went up last.
Okay.
And do you know Roger?
I don't.
Do you know of him?
I do not.
White comic, been doing it forever, and he will like pretty much his set will either crush or if the audience isn't feeling with him, then he'll just go at him. So, but he went up and he fucking ripped. So they're only taking 4, right? So I was like, okay, Jay Rich is definitely moving on, and I thought for sure Tristan. I was like, Tristan is moving on, and Roger's probably going to move on. I don't know if I'm going to move on or not. And like some people were like, okay, saying to me, they're like, you're moving on, Jay. I was like, dude, don't fucking jinx that shit. So myself, Jay Rich, who's the other guy from our heat that I'm forgetting, which I shouldn't, because he had a great set. Oh, fuck, it's driving me nuts that I can't remember. The dude from Jacksonville moved on. As somebody that I fucking did it before. Was it? Fuck, I can't believe I can't remember. But Tristan did not move on, which I was stunned. I thought for sure he was going to move on.
I've seen him get screwed in comps before.
Dude, he fucking had such a good set. Like, I was to the point where I was like, I don't think I'm moving on. I think Tristan will probably move on. But the way they announced it, if you moved on, they would have announced you in the order that you had gone up.
Yeah.
So I went up second, and I was the first one moving on. So I was announced first, then Jay Rich, and then they went to the Jacksonville dude and not Tristan. I was like, what? So I moved on. So now it's Sunday, right? And there's 2 shows Sunday. Now let me preface I'm about to say that everything is on me because I did not read.
Oh,
I did not read
the
the thing. And I talked to Darrell before entering this and everything, and he was like, yeah, we want to have you back and this and that. And I was like, I'd love to. And again, like I feel close to the Spires family, right? So I was like, 100% I'll do it. So 2 shows Sunday. I thought that the first show was we figure out who are going to be the finalists. All the semifinalists will be in that. And then the late show are the finals.
Right.
And you've crowned the winner. That is not what it is. Now, the 2 previous years that I did the Bay Area Black Comedy Competition, everything was done in that weekend. So Sunday, the day of, I found out from one of the comics, they're like, oh, no. They're like, which show are you on? I was like, well, I'm on the first one, obviously, because I don't know if I'm going to be in the finals. And they're like, no, what are you talking about? I'm like, the finals are the late show, right? And they go, oh, no. I go, they're not? They go, no. The finals are like in May or June. And I go, what? And they're like, yeah, they're both shows tonight are the semifinals shows. I was like, get the fuck. So I called Darrell, and I was like, yo, is this true? And he goes, oh yeah, the finals are it's to be determined where and when. And I was like, somebody told me maybe May, maybe June. I'm like, dude, May. I'm booked every weekend in May.
You cannot have the final.
Exactly. So. That was another thing I told Darrell. I was like, dude, you should never do this way ever again.
Why'd they do it this way this time?
I have no idea. I don't know. So once I hear that, I'm like, okay, well, I may not even, hypothetically, let's say I make the finals and they say, okay, it's this weekend in May, and I have a weekend in May already.
Right.
Do I give up the work for a possibility of winning, which I'm 99% sure I wouldn't take first.
Right.
So we're now about to draw numbers for the semifinals or to go to the finals, right? I draw 10. There's 10 in our heat. I draw number 10. And my buddy Justin Lucas, do you know Justin?
No.
Gay Filipino dude, very funny from the Bay. He draws bullet. So he's like, anybody want to switch? And I was like, fuck it, I'll switch. I go, I'll switch for a few reasons. One, I'm kind of annoyed at this point, and I really just want to get it over with. And I was thinking about doing my set and then just start heading back because I had to come back that night here to L.A. So I was like, fuck it, I'll switch with you, Justin. He's like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, let's switch. And he's like, thank you so much. I was like, nah, it's fine. I'm over it now at this point. So I went up, I took bullet. My set was fine. My set was fine, but right when I got off, I was like, that definitely would not be good enough to go to finals, but that's fine. And then they go through, and then Justin goes up 10th, the last comic, and Filipino dude, long hair, goes up, and he's fucking was waving his hair and everything, and just you had no question he was gay. I'll just put it that
Was
way.
it like a Ty Rivera type situation?
Oh, more.
Okay.
Flirting with a dude. He's like.
Oh, that's Ernesto Ortiz.
Yeah, dude. It was
out of Phoenix type of shit.
So he moved on. Justin moved on.
Okay.
He went up 10th, and I told him, I was like, if you win it, you got to give me a cut because I gave you that 10th spot, which, I'm fucking around. But and then they had the second show, but I took off. I was like, okay, I'm heading back to LA. So overall, I lost money doing it because I had to get up there. Luckily, shout out. I want to give a shout out to, I did it on my Instagram, Carlos Rodriguez and Frankie Marcos. I mean, you know how comics are, dude. Carlos first offered me his place to crash so I wouldn't have to pay for a hotel. But then he forgot he had a guest there, so he couldn't do it. And then he was like, well, maybe I'll stay at my mom's. Then he was like, hey, hit up Frankie Marcos, who I've worked with Frankie a few times, but literally a handful of times. Frankie wasn't even at home the whole weekend. He was working at another club. And he just left. He left his keys for me.
Very cool.
So shout out to Frankie and Carlos. Thank you guys. Cool. So I lost money, which I knew going in. I didn't know that because I thought the finals might be Sunday and I might have a chance of getting into the finals. Then I was just like, oh fuck. So, but still glad I did it. Got to meet a lot of people. They got to meet me too, and they get to see me or whatever.
Had you told Casey yet about? Sorry, Casey
Courier,
booker of major clubs in Phoenix,
about
the fact that the finals weren't until May.
I don't know if I have yet.
Let me be there.
Dude. Well, Monday or Tuesday, yeah.
Hilarious.
I'm glad I did it though. If anything, just to see the Spires family and Bob Sumner, and got to see Nichelle Murdoch and stuff, and just see some people I hadn't seen for a while, so that was good. And yeah, I think if the next time they do one or any involvement I have, I may ask to do like a stall set. I don't want to compete anymore. Fuck it. But
right.
I'll do like a stall set or maybe host a night, help
good.
out.
Yeah.
And dude, I told Jarrell, I was like, dude, I'll help fucking make a site for you guys because this is, dude, you don't have, I don't think it even has the listing of all the previous winners.
I've seen it. I've seen the website.
Yeah.
We looked at it in Casey's office together that day.
Frustrating because I want it to be successful, but so that was my my experience with the Bay Area.
Well, I mean, they made enough money. They can hire someone to
yeah,
do it.
I think so. Oh man, what did you do this last weekend?
What did I do this last weekend? You know what? This last weekend has been about spending some time with the wife, and about working out on this new material that I want to do tonight. So I've just been out hitting rooms.
Is this about your black pussy or your white pussy or your pussy?
We'll see if I get that far, but but yeah, I worked.
That's the clip I'm going to use. Is this about your black pussy?
I worked that bit out again last night, and it destroyed.
Did it?
Oh yeah.
Where were you at last night?
I went down. Derek McFarland in Phoenix runs a great room over at the Boycott Bar. It's a gay bar.
Nice.
But he runs a great room in there. You go in there, and he has 4 book spots. $10 he'll give you for doing one of those spots, and then he does open mic after that.
Oh, that's great.
So whoever shows up, just sign up. I think the open mic guys get 5-7 minutes.
Yeah.
They'll go up and do their thing, and he just lets everybody go till it's out.
Fuck yeah.
One of the cool things that he does, just to not to take away from your show, I know, but
no, dude, I've been talking too much.
One of the cool things that Derek does for his show, and I forget what he calls it, but if you go last, like say last night, then next week when you come back, he'll put you up first.
Oh shit! Okay.
To kind of reward you
That's
for
nice.
kind of hanging out all the way to the end. So I think it's kind of a cool thing to do.
That is good.
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody else do that. So
yeah, that's that is good. Fucking rewarding you for And did you do the black vagina joke?
Yeah, I did that. I did the black vagina. I did some of the other newer shit that I've been working on too. It all went well. So I'll crank some of it out tonight and see how it goes.
Dude, the trans joke that I've been working on.
That's a good joke.
Thank you. I'll tell you after this, but the ending, I've got a way for it to hit. And it's just, I mean, as we talk about all the time, how much we love the science of comedy, it literally is just such a tiny little tweak, and it fucking does so much better.
Well, you know what I did last night? Because I have not been comfortable, to be completely honest, doing relationship comedy is not my favorite stuff to do. It seems hacky for me.
That's interesting. Well, okay, hold on. Before you get into why do you feel that way?
because I feel like it's something that everyone's already doing. Every comic that wants a TV show is doing stuff about their relationships, and I know it's stuff we're supposed to do, and it does get you TV shows, and I know for anything with being a comic, there are no new premises under the sun.
Yeah.
Is how can you put your own twist on that premise? But it just
Well, you know what's funny is because some people will say online dating jokes are hacky, or single jokes are hacky and this and that. But I'm like, so we talk about our lives,
right.
and I don't have a wife to tell you my wife stories.
No,
I'm single, you know. So it's like that is my relationship stuff is dating now, you know, and and I got some new stuff too with that. Like basically the premise is, you know, I think you've heard my thing about it, why everybody loves the McRib.
Yes.
Because it's never around, right? So I just was thinking about it. I'm like, you know, the divorce rate, you're kind of getting inside ball here on a joke that will be eventually worked out. But divorce rate keeps going up, right? It's also the ways that we can communicate. We keep getting more and more options.
Right.
So I think it comes down to the more we get to know each other, the more we fucking hate each other.
I like it.
know?
I like it.
It's like I get to talk to you more. Fucking this sucks. I liked it better when I fucking hardly ever talk to you.
Yeah, I like it because back in the fucking 50s and 60s when the man came home, he just grunted.
Yeah.
Fucking lit a cigarette and sat down and nobody talked to him.
Yeah, or
and
somebody goes off for a cowboy goes away for months and you get a letter maybe once every 3 months. Yeah, it's
somehow they made it happen for 50 years.
Yeah. Now it's like, oh, the people are always like, oh, you need to communicate more. No, you need to communicate less. That's the key to successful relationship.
Absolutely. Yeah. So what I did to make myself more comfortable with the material I've been writing,
Did you do a symposium?
I did not do a symposium. Asshole. What I did was I just went up there without my notes and I just flipped everything around and moved stuff around. And instead of, and you know how it is, instead of starting where you've been practicing that, I actually started from the back and did that to kind of get that out of the way. And I started with the black pussy stuff and the homeless stuff and just hit them with that right away. And it went well. And then I came back. And it made me feel a little bit better about the material.
Well, now, do you saying that you feel doing relationship stuff is hacky, which I think is crazy. Is there any other stuff that you do that you feel like that material is hacky?
No, it's just a relationship stuff, and I'm trying to make it not hacky. I'm trying to get my mindset around. I think part of what it is I've modeled myself so much after my hero Chris Rock, and Chris Rock does not do that. This is my life stuff exclusively. He'll fit some of it here. And
well, you're not doing relationships exclusively.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is nothing about his marriage. You know, it's not going to be a whole hour about being married. And here's my mother-in-law and my father-in-law. No, he's more observational. I enjoy doing the observational stuff, but I got to get better at doing this as well. So that's why I'm writing it in.
I don't think you should. My view on like people are so quick to say anything's hacky. To me, in my opinion, as long as you're not stealing material, do whatever the fuck you want. Like, dude, you know, people can say fucking airline shit is hacky, and then I can list you greats that all do it, but it's their take on it. People will say the fucking, you know, the animal, dog, and cat shit is hacky, but again, I can name you legends that all have shit on it.
And you're right.
You know, so
and you're right about that.
As long as you're not stealing material and you fucking do your own thing, you know. From online dating, I went out with a little person. How can I not talk about that?
Yeah, you know, and that's completely your life.
Right, but I'm saying a lot of people think, oh, online dating, it's so fucking hack or whatever. Well, I don't have marriage or my wife material.
And the thing that's not hacky about yours is your shit. It's not as if you're trying to make up stories.
Right.
This is shit that really happened to you. You
went out with a trans woman.
When you and I sit down and watch these guys, we know this is some shit you're fucking making up. This not you can't sell this. Or two, this sounds just like some shit that I could hear at the fucking neighborhood bar.
Yeah.
And that's where I get with when I call it. Excuse me again. When I call it hacky, that's kind of more of the expanded definition of what I mean. People get into these jokes about relationships or marriage or whatever, and this is the same shit Ronnie and Bobby and Ricky and Mike fucking told last weekend.
And I mean, if they like the girl, who cares who you like?
Boom, there you go. Wait. Coolly now.
So stupid.
Hey, man. Hey, I set the domino up
Yeah,
for you.
yeah, that's
Knock that
like-
motherfucker over.
Oh, fuck. So you're doing the show you're doing tonight. Whose show is it? Is it Adam Ray's show?
Adam Ray and another guy. He doesn't want his name to be known.
Oh, okay.
So.
Is that how you got the gig? Was from the other guy?
From them both, actually.
Okay, gotcha.
Adam Ray came in to came to Phoenix, and he was at CB Live in Tempe Improv. Sandy had to come back here to shoot something.
Danto?
Yeah, he had to come back here to shoot. What's that show that Ashton Kutcher created? Everybody was crazy about.
Punk'd?
Punk.
Oh.
He had to come here to shoot another shoot an episode of that. They needed someone to come out and open, so I opened, and then they liked me enough to let me guest spot for the rest of the weekend.
That's great.
And I just connected those guys, had a good time, and had some good sets. And they were like, "Dude, yeah."
So that had to have been a long time ago, though, when Punk'd was on?
No, they rebooted it.
Oh, shit. I didn't know
So
that.
I didn't know it either.
Fuck.
So they rebooted it, and so my interaction with them was from a couple of months ago.
Oh, that's great.
And yeah, so it was good.
And the haha and Rec Room, oh, dude, that's a good run. And is this the first time you've done a run like out here?
Yeah, and that's one of the good things for me. I try to take. I like to keep score. I'm very competitive, even with myself. So the last couple of times I've been out to do stuff in L.A., I've only had one show to do the entire time, and that was at the Comedy Store, which I'm very grateful for.
Yeah.
But I had nothing else. This time I've got 5 shows to do. It's
great.
So in 4 days. So
It's worth it.
Dude, it's so worth it. Then Hunter Hill, excuse me, who I connected with, he's
Great, dude.
Yep, he's Eliza's
Schlesinger?
feature.
Yeah.
And so I connected with him because I featured for him in Phoenix, and we just kicked it off. And he liked my material. He said, "Dude, if you're ever coming out, let me know. I got this room or this show at this great room."
Yep.
And so I reached out, and he's one of the few people who I've met who actually stuck to his fucking word. Reach out to me when you're in LA, and I got you.
He's just a good dude.
He's a good
So's
dude.
Eliza, dude. Like
I haven't met her, but
I think because of Eliza's, like, she's very fucking, I don't know if aggressive is the right word, her stage persona, but maybe it's aggressive and not in a bad way, but I think a lot of people don't know. Eliza's like, she's so fucking nice.
Yeah.
Like when I hosted for her at Parlor and saw her at the store when I first moved down, remembered me and was like, "You need anything, or you want to get on this show or whatever, let me know." So very
but fucking meant it.
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
what I mean? I mean, for people who are watching, if you're not a comic, you don't quite understand. Well, you know what? You do understand, because everyone has had people, not one person, but people in your life. When you need $20, call me. I got you.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers never answer the phone. I had a dude tell me, and I won't mention his name, told me I met him when the Laugh Factory was in Phoenix, and I was maybe
Call him out.
right. He said, "Dude, when you come out to L.A., you know I got you. You can stay at my place, such and such, such and such." Well, I don't like to be left hanging, so I'm gonna get my own room, and I don't like to put people out. But the motherfucker never picked up the phone after he found out I was coming. If it wasn't for my guy Johnny Sanchez, who made sure that we went out and he took me around and took me to the Laugh Factory here in Hollywood. That's when I first and only time I ever met Eric Griffin. We hung out up in the green room. Then Johnny and I went back to Johnny's studio and drank and talked and laughed, and I passed out on the couch and got up and went back to my hotel room I had, which I could have done the night before. But it was so cool, because it's so chill to hang out with other comics, especially when you get to hang out with, someone you consider, or not consider, but who's long in the game.
Yeah.
They can share so much shit with you.
Yes.
And that's, to me, and all I care about is learning.
Yeah.
I'll sit and listen to you fucking talk all night. If you got wisdom you want to give, I'll take it all night.
When we met, who was it that was headlining?
Steve Byrne.
Oh, Steve Byrne. That's
I'll never
right.
forget that.
Yeah.
That was the first weekend
great.
I have ever been late for a show. Because you called me and I was on my way. He's like, and I picked up the phone all nonchalant. "Yo, what's up, Jay?
Yeah.
Where are you?" Well, I'm like, "What's the problem? I'm on my way. The show is gonna start." I'm like, "Fucking A."
I'm glad I was able to witness that, so I can always hang that over your head.
You can't hang that over my head because I was so mad at myself.
I mean, usually you're very professional.
Thank you. And I got there. The show had already started 5 minutes. Had been going on for 5 minutes by the time I got to the Tempe Improv.
Did I start it off?
Yeah, you started off, and when I walked in, they were like, "Yeah, it's going to be a 2-man show." Blah blah blah.
Oh,
blah.
fuck.
And so I was sitting in the green room just kicking my own ass.
Yeah.
And Steve comes in, and Steve says, "Hey, what's going on?" I said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry, because I'm afraid now that Steve's gonna kick me off the show." So I'm like, "Hey, I'm sorry. This is what happened. I was late. I thought the time was this, but it's this, and now I'm here. But you guys gonna have a 2-man show." He said, "You want to go on?" I said, "Yeah." I mean, he said, "Well, you're going on."
Nice, nice.
I said, well, "Okay, well, let them know, because I don't want this to be any fall back on me." So he went out and let them know. Got the waitress up. "Yeah, Sidney's gonna go on." So
They brought a note to me.
They
right?
brought a note
That's
to you
right.
that night, and I remember you were like, "Do they know when the rhythm of a show? Wait, they bring the note at the right time." I mean,
I'm like in the middle of a punchline and like, "Oh, stop it! Oh,
here you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the first time we worked together was with Steve Byrne. Steve was so chill, man.
That was great, and then we clicked immediately.
Yeah,
that was.
You were the first person in all my years to give me money after a show.
Did I?
Yeah, you gave me $20.
And did I tell you who gave me money?
Just hilarious.
No. Yeah, right. Yeah, she didn't give me money. She took jokes.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. You did, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
She was black.
Yes.
And it was female.
She just had a Netflix special just drop.
Did she?
It wasn't Jones?
No.
Oh, who was it?
I wish. Leslie Jones, though, backed me up on a joke that the audience didn't like.
Oh,
and then
that's
she
that
went out
story.
and called them all bitches and pussies.
Who gave you the money?
Lonnie Love.
That's right. It was Lonnie Love. Yep. First guy ever. So when I get to be big time, I'm going to do the same thing. Actually, I'm going to make it a regular thing. Because for people who don't know, comics don't make shit, especially the openers don't make shit.
And you know what? I keep saying to myself, I want to do this. I'm going to do it after we finish this. I want to put, or I'm going to put on my IG, telling people, like, if you go to a show, if you like any of the comics, whether it's if you only like the host or if you only like the feature or whatever, tweet that out and tag the club in it.
Yeah.
Or let somebody know from the club, because that does a lot for especially comics that are coming up that are trying to get time. Like, you know, if it's a comic's first time doing a weekend somewhere and they can get compliments, you know, the club starts hearing from audience members that, "Oh, the host was great," or the feature, "Who was that feature? That feature was amazing." Mm-hmm. That actually goes a long way.
Or what you could do on top of that, and I because this is what I do. I'm gonna start doing that, but this is what I do. I trade IG information with these people right away, especially if we take pictures together, and then let them know, hey, if they want a picture for their phone, cool, but I need one for mine. And a lot of times when they post it, they'll tag you because you've exchanged that IG information. But if they don't, I throw it up and I tag them anyway, and then they'll come on and make a comment anyway.
Yeah, and
kind of let that get out there.
Absolutely.
And then one of the cool things I like to do, because I believe in having a website and promoting yourself, because no one's fucking going to do it for you.
Yeah.
I will cut and paste whatever not kind words they said about me and put that on my website.
Oh, nice.
So that I have a reviews page, and when you go to that, it's just nothing but blurbs.
That's smart.
Of different comments that have been made about me and the jokes I told.
That's smart. I have quotes from comics, like pretty big name comics, including
Yep, you do. Right on
Greg
your
Fitzsimmons saying they probably don't have a lot of sex, which is pretty good. All right, we're good. All right, what is the best way for people to follow you? All your Instagram and all that stuff.
Yeah, best way is just go to IG. Everyone knows. I just heard a fact. You'll get a kick out of this. Only 7% of Americans are on Twitter.
Wow.
And which when I thought about it, because I'm a political junkie, that made sense why Twitter put up such a fight about not wanting to do anything about the Russian bots and whatnot, because they hardly have anybody in this country who's even on Twitter in the first place.
Did you see percentages of the other ones?
I didn't. I just know.
Curious.
I just know. And it was the number that jumped out because I heard it. I was like, oh, because everyone's been saying Twitter's dying for a number of years. And here, only 7% of Americans are on Twitter, which was a crazy number to me. But so IG is what I use mainly. You can follow me at Sidney Smith Creative, CRE8 TIV.
No, you got to spell how your name is spelled because people will misspell it.
SID, that's right. SIDNEY SMITH CRE8 TIV.com.
I'll tag you in this too. That is the worst Instagram handle ever. You should do like SS Creative or SS Comedy.
Hey man, what's wrong with that?
Because like if I'm in a hurry, like if somebody's in a hurry, hey, what's your Instagram? Big Irish J. Look at me, Big Irish J.
Right.
Easy to remember.
Right.
Hey, what's your Instagram? Oh, it's Sidney Smith Creative. Oh, just spelled out how it sounds. Oh no. Okay, so Sidney with an I and Creative with the number 8, and then you have a squiggly line and some hieroglyphics in there.
You got to do
something easy like SS Comedy. Or
that comedy, I don't.
Like I'm a big proponent of which you are. I think you're universal. You have that Sidney Smith Creative across all of them, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is huge. I'm Big Irish J across everything, but I think it's got to be easy.
I wanted something because I'm big picture, long vision guy. So, a lot of people use Michael James comedy, shit like that. I think that's played out for one, but I think you're boxing yourself in. And so I write, I act, I write sketches, I film sketches. So all that stuff is already. I'm a guest host on a radio show in Dallas.
SS Creates.
I thought about that, but I like creative.
SS Creative, but spelled normal.
No, gotta separate yourself, man.
Well, yeah, I mean but like you could have it spelled all weird as like your fucking LLC and shit.
I got a vision. I got a vision, Jay.
Man.
As Casey would say, Casey, we talked about earlier. Casey, he told me one day I was talking to Katie, one of the girls who works for him. I said, you know what? I like you. I think I got a job for you down the road. And Casey looks at me and goes, fuck you, Sidney. Sidney walked around just giving jobs out like he's interviewing all of us.
And it's future jobs.
It is.
You ready to leave this job in like 10 years?
I like the cut of your jib, kid.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Now I'll put this out tomorrow. So we named all the shows you're doing here in LA.
Yeah.
What do you have next weekend?
Nothing actually right now. I'm waiting to hear about something. I don't want to jinx it.
Okay.
But I really want to work with this young lady, so I'm waiting to hear about some things.
Hilarious?
No. The next big thing we're going to be doing together is April. The Sidney Smith show.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to that. I'm trying to decide if
that.
we're going to co-headline or if you're just going to headline this thing by yourself.
You know me. I'm whatever you want. I'm here for you, whatever you need. Yeah. As long as I can do merch. No,
are you the guest spot comic that tries to do merch?
Oh, God.
Show? Those people are the worst.
Fucking, have I told you the story I have of that?
I don't think you told me yours.
Rex Navarrete, Louis Anderson, and another comic?
No.
Okay. I'll tell this story. I'll be next weekend. I'll be at Oklahoma City at the Bricktown Comedy Club in Oklahoma City. Then the week after that, all of March, I'm in Massachusetts and Connecticut, and I'm going to be doing some runs in New York. I'll tell you so. I may be up on Robert Kelly's podcast coming in March, the You Know What Dude podcast. Stay tuned on all that. So here's the story, and we'll leave with this. So this was back when the stand-up boot camp thing was going on.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say the comic. I'll tell you afterwards.
All right.
But if you can probably figure it out. So Rex Navarrete is headlining the weekend at Parlor Live. Rex Navarrete, very funny Filipino comic. He calls himself like the original Filipino comic. Very good dude. So we're in the green room. Louis Anderson walks in, who is one of the teachers of the stand-up boot camp. Sweetheart of a guy. Says to Rex, he's like, hey, Rex, you think I could do a guest spot? And Rex was like, I would be honored. He was like, just 5 minutes, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Absolutely, Louis, I'd be honored. Thank you so much. Louis leaves. This other comic comes in. Hey, Rex, you think I could do a guest spot? Sure. Rex says, sure, no problem. And then he follows it up with, cool. Do you care if I do merch? And Rex goes, yeah, I do mind. And I was like, the fucking balls on this guy to ask to do merch on a guest spot.
Can I share a quick story?
Yeah.
I don't want to be a one-upper, but I got to share this. For anybody who's a comedian.
Fucking topper.
Fuck yeah. No, you're the fucking topper. You're the worst. I won't mention this guy's name. I don't even know this guy.
Pussy, call him out.
No, I don't even know him. Can't remember his name really. I had to go back and look in my Facebook Messenger. He asked me if he can get a guest spot on my Sidney Smith show in April. And I noticed that he didn't say Sidney Smith in the message, but when he said Sidney, he spelled it S-Y-D-N-E-Y. And I was polite. I just said, hey, I don't do guest spots on my show. Oh, no, let me tell you what he said. He said,
you should have said, sorry, I don't know who you're talking to because that's not my fucking name.
Never in print if I can help it. But he says, hey, can I get a guest spot? No worries if you can't get to this. I can always reach Casey directly.
Oh.
First of all, Casey doesn't book my show. All right.
He's already going above your head.
All right. Casey doesn't book my show. Second of all, you spell my name S-Y. It is S-I. And what I wanted to do, what I did want to say was, which show are you talking about? So I can make him type out the name of the show and see that you spelled it wrong, but I didn't. I just said, I don't do guest spots. Then he comes back, he says, I don't do guest spots. I just booked my show. He says, well, I like a feature spot. I didn't even reply to it.
White guy?
Of course. So I made.
Did you tell him he'll have to wait? Scott, wait. No.
I did not. But I told that story because anybody out there who's young and coming up, and even if you're old in the game, be careful when you're messaging people. Spell the name correctly, especially if the show is named after the guy.
You want to hear a fuck up I did?
I would love this.
Oh man! So on Mondays and Tuesdays, I usually send out my cold emails.
Yeah.
And so I have an email that, like the first paragraph, I can customize it and put in like, I'd love to be in the rotation of, the Chuckle Fuckers Comedy Club or whatever.
That's a good club.
Yeah, it's fucking great. I keep coming back.
I love that. A lot of
nice.
groupies.
Or I can just have it like have it generic, like I'd love to be in the rotation of your club, blah, 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 right? So I was sending out this email and I was just being lazy. And I was like, I'll just fucking blast this to all these. And I put all of them, I didn't put it in the BCC. I put all of them in just the regular 2. So all of them saw that I sent this email to all of them. And I was like, do I ever email them again?
Anybody reply to you?
I don't think so. And I've since emailed a few of them back, but just individually. As soon as I sent it, I was like, no!
It's a good thing that a lot of the bookers don't look at the emails like we believe they don't. So.
Oh, fuck, dude. Yeah. And DC, just as a heads up, I was going to DC a couple weeks ago, that got moved. I'm going to be there in June. So just a heads up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's it. Thanks, Sid. I love you, brother.
Love you too.
Now go rip it tonight, son.
Yeah, man. You coming out?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Right.
Yeah. And now we end it by saying bye.
Bye.